Guys, hope you're doing great. We are working on the financial literacy stuff, and we just made about first week, I think so. And in this, we are going to uh, review what we learned, and in other uh, video series, we are going to explore other things which are remaining. Okay, so what we have done. First of all, we have done this thing which is the language of money. That's very interesting part. All of the interesting parts. So here it is the financial literacy stuff. So let's come here and what we communicated with the ChatGPT. So first of all, we learn about the language of money, which is to learn about the money. So how the money born and how it flows and from banks to governments to businesses to customers and the cycle goes on. So what is the money? Actually, money is a system of trust fundamentally, and we use the money because it is also measurable value. So I can say that I trust you, so I cannot put the number on it. So if I can say that I give you around 1 lakh dollars, so it means that I trust you to the 1 lakh dollars money, so you can uh, work on it, and I trust you that you will perform well. So it's like a measurable thing, and it can be exchangeable. In the barter system, what happens is that we have to barter something with something else. Might be you have something in vast quantity, but the other person is not interested in it, and the other person what they have, uh, you, you want that thing from them. So if something um, you, you have but you can't exchange with another person, then there is a problem. So money is the medium of exchange as well, so that's why it is uh, valuable store of value. So that's the thing. Medium of exchange, unit of account, as you can see, a standard way to measure value. Medium of exchange lets us trade without bartering. Store of value holds purchasing power over time. Money isn't value itself, it represents value. That's the important concept, that money isn't value itself, it represents value. Okay, so here's the evolution of money. What is it? Is the barter, when we exchange the goods with goods. So how it works: wheat for god, and hard to match because might be you have wheat and other person have god, but the other person don't want wheat, and you don't want god. You want god, but the person who have got, they don't want the wheat in exchange, so it will be hard for you to get this thing. That's why money come into play, uh, to represent the value. So if that person give you the card, and you give them money, so they are able to exchange that money with someone else if they want any other thing than wheat. So that's the thing. Okay, and the commodity of money, like what the form of it, uh, is the gold and silver coins with intrinsic value, heavy and limited supply. That's why it is, it has intrinsic value, but it has the problem of transportation, and it has limited supply. So that's the limitation of that commodity money. Paper money, promissory notes, early banknotes, depends on issuer. So that's the, you can say, trust issue. The paper money person can print as much as they can, but that's the uh, depend on the trust we have uh, on the issuer. So that's the problem with the uh, paper money. And fiat money, government backed. And yeah, that's the thing which I just explained above. It is the USD PKR value in government. So fiat is that if government have certain economy, and they can issue the note that, okay, if something happen, you can come to us and we can give you the valuable thing in exchange. So because the economy of the government is strong, so they can exchange it. That's why it is called government back. Digital money, and this is the bank transfer, money wallet, PayPal, JazzCash, something like that. It's still fiat based, but the digital money is the representation of the fiat money. Decentralized money, crypto assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, trust, algorithm plus network. Yep. So we understand it. Different types of money form, you can say. And what are their limitations? If the algorithm is strong and the network is strong, then the decentralization money worth more. Okay, so how money is rated? Central banks control base, different nodes, generate coins and reserves, influence liquidity and interest rates. So the central banks are the ones who have the supply of the money. Okay, and the commercial banks create 90% of money via lending. That's the very interesting concept, which is the fractional reserve banking, when it comes here. And yeah, we explore it in past videos. We will overview here as well about this thing. And government, uh, uh, how money is created. Okay, commercial banks create, central banks create, and the government adds money through spending and borrowing. So they issue bonds and have projects. So it also create money. People and businesses circulate money through spending, saving, and investment. So every loan generate new money, you can say, and every repayment um, money restriction. It is more about the fractional reserve banking. Very interesting concept. So yeah, here we go. How the money flows. Bank create, like, print them, give them to the banks. They give loan to the businesses. Then the consumer uh, and the businesses create the products, and then consumers buy them and pay the tax on it. So the tax goes to the government, and then government make the projects and give the salaries of the employees or something like that, and they get and they store in the bank. So one thing I noticed is that in whole flow of the money, money stays in the bank. Okay, so if we can say the central bank uh, print the notes, so money is in the central bank. Then they get into the commercial banks who will loan the businesses. Then they give the money to the businesses. Then where the business is going to store that money in banks. Then the consumer is paying. From where they are paying? From banks, and from where it is going into the banks of the businesses. Okay, when they are going to pay the tax, the government bank, the bank of the government, going to hold that tax amount, and then when the government going to spend that tax on the projects or on something like that. So it is going to be transferred from bank to bank. So money keep or remains in the banking system. So it seems it never leave the banking system. So that's why I think so banking system is very profitable, and on each transaction they almost earn certain percentage. So yeah, that's why um, banks are very profitable. So there's the flow. You can see, I just explained above, the circulation money, you can see bloodstream of the economy. So the speed of this flow is velocity of the money. How much with what speed the money is moving hand to hand, then it is called velocity of money. Okay. And money in modern system, we have digital banking like with numbers, fintech, accelerates circulation. Yeah, it's easy to just send with few taps, then to get this cash and hand over to someone, and they hand over to someone else. So it will slow up the speed of the circulation. Okay, so inflation interest rate determined by determine money cost. So if there is the inflation, the increment in the prices of products and the interest rates, like if the bank gives the loan and they say that you, when you're going to repay, you have to pay 10% interest on it. So if I get the loan of 1 lakh, then when I'm going to repay it, I have to repay it, yeah, it with 1 lakh 10,000 dollar or rupees or whatsoever. So that's the interest interest rate influence. Your business depends on how fast you turn cash into value back into cash conversion cycle. So that's the stuff. So a business buy the inventory, they sold it, and they converted back into the cash with profit. So that's the cash conversion cycle. And that's why uh, businesses depends on how quickly they are moving the money around. So that's the core point. Sometimes what happens is that we keep the inventory hold and we don't sell it, and uh, we keep it in stock. However, might be some price increase by the time by 10%, but if we're going to sell it in first place and then reinvest it in the no inventory, and then we are such as generating around 5% value on this on e-sale. So if you're going to sell it for 4 times in the same holding time period, then at the whole time period we might get the money, which is the 10% increment. But if we are going to roll it down, then we can increase the value by 4x, because we are rolling it 4 times. So here's how the value of the money increasing. So here's the um, main point we have to understand in the money or the business. So maybe sometime what happen is that we have low ROI products, but they sell fast. So if they are going to sell fast, we can roll the same amount of money many times, other than in comparison to the high ROI one, but it is selling low. So we have to know that how in the end of the cycle, how much money we are generating. It is being generated more by uh, more for quick uh, cash conversions cycle, or with the slow conversion cycle. So it's like the rule of the investment we have to know. Okay, so there's the thing, and we understand this part, the cash flow, and okay, we get it done it here. Now, I just asked for the business value and the consumer. We got it done, how it works. You can say every sale is not just income, it's a proof that aligned with the trust in timing, financial literate, concern, P&L, okay, know the feeling, and these are the numbers. Okay, so I just get this understanding about this thing. Okay, that's a very interesting concept, which is the fractional reserve banking. I think so. We are on it. Yep. Bank reserve to create money. Yeah, that's the very interesting concept. And let me see if I have that. Mm, fraction reserve banking, banking, fractional reserve banking. I created the Excel file of it, and there's a very cool concept. I really like it. I like. I don't like it in this. Um, I can let you know that it's a fascinating one. Uh, Almost how the economic works. Mostly, I think so. Is based on this one. That is the modern economy. So, fractional reserve. No, 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 no. I'm unable to get that file. If I'm going to get it, then it's great. Okay, drive. Okay, there's fraction. I think so. Here it is. Money. I don't know where I just put it. It should be there. Financial, financial. Hmm. Stream transcripts. No, I don't know where I just put it. Money. That's not good. I just make a very interesting file out of it. Let me find an um, bank. Now it is fraction, fractional reserve. I'm searching it in my drive, but I'm unable to find it. Mm, mm, mm. I should. Oh my gosh, where it is, man. This should be here. Uh, Shit. Mm, no, I don't think so. Can see it right now. But if I find it, then it would be very useful. Uh, where it is, man. Tracy. Tracy. Okay. No, 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 no. It isn't here. I should keep it secure. There's my mistake. That's a very important file. Hmm. Financial uh, workbook. No, no. There's. Oh, I think I got it, man. Ah, okay, good. I got it. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. What it is, I can share with you. So there's okay. So that's the fractional reserve banking story. Okay, so that's very interesting part. What happened is that a bank, someone come and deposit $1,000 in their bank, and there is something law of or rule from the central bank that you can lend certain percentage to someone else but keep certain reserve in your bank. Let's say they're allowed to loan 90% of the money they get from their customer. Okay, so they are able to loan to lend 90% of that amount but keep 10% in their bank. The 10% reserve, they also keep it to have the cash in the bank if someone come to withdraw the cash, and also to retain the value in the bank. So what happened is that someone deposited $1,000, then they are able to lend uh, 90%, which is the $900, and the 10% they keep in the bank. So the total money in the stream, when there is the first bank involved, $1,000. Okay, so someone come to the bank one, and they come and tell that we need loan, and the bank having $900 to give the loan of it. Now they give that $900 to someone, the other person. So the other person going to take that $900, then they go back to their bank to keep it, to keep in their account. Okay, so they this is the business. They get that $900 loan and they deposit it in their bank. The same rule apply here. That bank of the new person who is the owner two, uh, bank is able to loan 90% of that amount and keep the 10% as reserve. So what happened is that now the money in the system is that $1,000 of the person who first deposited their money in the bank, and then the second person who get the loan of the $900 and they deposit it in their bank. So now there is an entry of $1,000 in person one account, and there is a $900 entry in second person account. This is the loan. 900 is the loan which the other person take from the bank one. Now the total money in system is $1,900. So that's how they created the money out of the thin air. Same thing happened. What happened is that now, if the second owner bank able to loan $810 to someone else, then the same cycle repeats. Someone else come, they get that money, deposit in their bank, and then that bank is able to loan 90%, keep the 10% reserve. Now the total supply in the system is 2,710. How I calculated it? You can see it is that one. So first one come in this way. When the initially money in this money in system is this. Okay, when they loan, then there is a new entry of $900 in this system. Then the total money in the system is 1,900. Then when they loan that $810, then money supply in the system is that $900 plus 810. equals to 2710. Interestingly, with this reserve percentage ratio, they can keep going down till they are able to generate $10,000 out of $1,000 deposit when the reserve ratio is 10%. So from $1,000, they created $10,000 in the system out of the thin air. So that's how the fractional reserve banking work. They give and keep fraction of the deposit money, and then they create the money out of the thin air. So that's how the fractional reserve banking work. It's like interesting concept, okay? And you can see if we go down, uh, there's a cap of $10,000, and no, uh, there's there's how this fraction reserve banking generate money out of the thin air. Okay. Okay, now if we are going to change that reserve percentage, say, let me show you what is the formula I use here. Okay, so what happened is that there's a 10% of it keep here, and then we get that lending amount by subtracting that reserve amount from the deposit amount. Then okay, then that's how it this fraction reserve ratio is uh, influencing the system, and this money in system is just the deposit amount here in the first, and then it is the sum of the deposit amount in the upper system in the first one, and the second, the new loan amount that's being deposited by the new owner. Okay, and the same sum here as well. Now if I'm going to change it with 8%, let's see, we are seeing 10% gap here, but now they are able to generate more money from that $1,000. Okay, but there is a cap as well. Okay, after this one they are uh, unable to lend more money, so that's why there, there is a cap of 1200 500 dollars. So now if I'm going to increase it by 12%, then that money generation go down. Okay, it was 10,000 when it is 10%, but now it is stuck at 8,333. So overall, how the I just show you how the fraction reserve banking works and how it generates the money in the system, and it influences so much overall the economy as well. So hopefully you will understand the concept well now. So yeah, um, so we are going to get to the next step, next concept of the financial literacy. But keep in mind that uh, it has so much influence in the economy, in the money system. Okay, so let's go to another topic now. Uh, so here we just explore this thing. Okay, just wait. Get an issue. So that's the thing. Mm, there's reserve stuff, I think so. That's what we just understood. Money multiplier effect. So we can resume it our understanding from here. So how this work? This phase is how the feedback loop that keeps the entire financial system alive. It's closing arc of the money cycle where the flow of money returns to the source, which is the bank. as they print the money. And I also show you how they generate the money out of the thin air. Okay, so that it can be reused, read, and multiplied. And every government business is spent, every economic actor, your consumer spends money paying suppliers salaries, funding projects, buying goods and services. This spending injects money into the real economy. It's the lifeblood that keeps consumption and production running. When you pay your supplier deposit that money into their bank. That simple act begins the next step. Reserves accumulate in the banking system. Once money is deposited into the bank, it doesn't sit idle. Each deposit increases the bank's reserve, the pool of funds they hold at the central bank, like SPP, Fed, and ECB. Uh, I think that this is European Central Bank. Banks are required to keep a certain percentage, as I show you there, which is the reserve ratio, and to keep a certain percentage of every deposit as reserves. For example, you pay the supplier 10,000, the supplier deposit in the bank, then the bank keeps 10% of it, and as reserves can as reserves and can lend out $9,000 to another borrower. That's how spending becomes reserves. So reserves becomes new loans create new money. This is called money multiplier effect. That's it. That is the fractional reserve banking. So banks uh, use reserves to create more money. Those reserves are not that capital, they are the foundation for more lending. Okay, banks lend a multiple of their reserve within regulations, which restarts the whole economy. Banks, business, consumer, government spending, reserves bank. Every time this happens, the money supply expands. This is why economic growth and credit expansion are tightly linked. They are giving the credit, and that's how the economy is growing. Key insight: every rupee, dollar, pound you spend doesn't disappear; it re-enters the financial bloodstream. I buy something, the the seller get that money into their bank, and then that bank going to loan that amount to someone else, and then the money cycle goes on. Even when you think you are spending, you are actually refueling the system that will later fund you or others again. As a founder, you're spending as okay, something like that. Spending drives growth, reserve deposit increase bank reserve, at central bank expand lending capacity. Banks banks relend money to start new cycles, multiplies money supply. I already show you how the multiplication of the money works. Okay, ta-da! Like this, like you can see that we generated more money after the 10 year. That's how it's work. Oh my gosh, there's really annoying. Okay, so there's how the money supply works. Okay, so yep, we get it done. Here we already understand this thing, and I think so. We will resume that other part after some time. So there's we explored the fractional reserve banking very well. Just keep this concept in your mind, and because it is affecting you day in and day out. Thank you so much, and see you again soon. Bye.